What if tomorrow the sun didn't rise? What if the world above became completely uninhabitable, and you had exactly 72 hours to figure out how to survive underground? Welcome back to Human vs. Survival, the channel where we explore the most extreme scenarios on Earth and teach you how to actually make it through them. And today, we're going deeper than you've ever gone before, because we're breaking down everything you need to know about living underground after an apocalypse. Now, I know what you're thinking. Underground survival sounds like science fiction. But here's the thing that most people don't realize. There are actually thousands of people on this planet who have already done this. Doomsday preppers, bunker communities, even entire families living in underground homes right now. And their strategies, they're way more practical than you'd think. Let's start with the most critical factor: air. This is where most underground survival plans completely fail. People think they can just seal themselves in a bunker and they'll be fine. Wrong. Your body consumes oxygen and produces carbon dioxide. In a sealed underground space, you'll have maybe 6 to 8 hours before the CO2 levels become toxic. You'll start experiencing headaches, dizziness, and confusion long before you even realize what's happening. The solution: passive air systems. You need to create what's called a thermal stack effect. This means drilling 2 ventilation shafts, one that draws fresh air down from above, and another that lets stale air escape upward. The temperature difference between your living space and the surface creates natural air circulation. No electricity required, no moving parts, just physics doing the work for you. But here's the catch. You need to filter that incoming air. A simple HEPA filter system can remove 99% of radioactive particles, biological agents, or chemical contaminants. This is non-negotiable if the apocalypse above is chemical or nuclear in nature. Next comes water, and this is where underground locations actually give you a massive advantage. Groundwater exists everywhere, but you can't just drink it straight. You need a multi-stage filtration system: sand, gravel, activated charcoal, and then boiling. Or if you have the resources, a reverse osmosis system. Some underground bunkers have natural aquifers directly beneath them. If you're lucky enough to have that, you're looking at a virtually unlimited water supply. The key is testing it first. Get a water testing kit. Know exactly what contaminants you're dealing with before you depend on it for survival. Now let's talk about the space itself. The ideal underground bunker is between 20 and 40 feet below the surface. Why? Because at that depth, you've got enough earth above you to shield from radiation. But you're not so deep that you're dealing with extreme pressure changes or toxic gases from deeper geological layers. The space should be reinforced with concrete, steel, or both. Walls should be at least 1 foot thick. The ceiling needs to support the weight of the earth above it. This isn't something you improvise. This is something you plan for years in advance. Temperature control is your next puzzle. Underground spaces naturally stay around 50 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit. That's actually perfect for long-term survival because it slows decomposition and reduces the need for food preservation. But you'll still need some heating. A wood-burning stove with a proper chimney system works beautifully. It provides heat, allows you to cook, and the chimney serves as an additional air vent. Just make sure you have adequate ventilation so carbon monoxide doesn't accumulate. Let's move to food storage. This is where your underground location becomes a fortress of survival. Underground bunkers are naturally cool and dark, the two things that extend food shelf life dramatically. Canned goods last for decades. Dried foods like pasta, rice, and beans can last for 20 years or more if stored properly. But here's what separates survivors from casualties. They don't just stock food. They stock variety. Psychological survival matters just as much as physical survival. If you're eating the same 3 meals for months, your mental health deteriorates. That deterioration becomes a survival threat. So you stock comfort foods, spices, and treats alongside your calorie-dense survival rations. Now, electricity and lighting. This is where most people make critical mistakes. A standard generator running on stored fuel, that's a temporary solution. After a few months, that fuel degrades. The generator breaks down. You're in complete darkness. Instead, consider a combination system. Solar panels on the surface connected to deep-cycle batteries in your bunker. LED lighting systems that run on minimal power. And as a backup, old-fashioned oil lamps and candles. Redundancy saves lives. Here's something people rarely talk about. Psychological preparation. Living underground is psychologically taxing. You're in a confined space. There's no natural light, no sky, no horizon. People develop what's called underground fatigue. It's similar to what submarine crews experience. The solution? Create designated spaces. A sleeping area, a work area, an exercise area. Establish routines and schedules. Exercise regularly. Maintain hygiene. Keep a journal. These aren't luxuries. They're survival tools. Sanitation is critical and often overlooked. You need a functioning toilet system. This could be a composting toilet that breaks down waste naturally, or a septic system connected to underground chambers. Without proper sanitation, you're looking at disease outbreak within weeks. And disease in an isolated underground bunker. That's a death sentence. Medical supplies and knowledge are your final lifeline. You need antibiotics, pain relievers, wound care supplies, and medications for any chronic conditions. But more importantly, you need knowledge. Take a wilderness first aid course. Learn how to treat infections, set bones, and perform basic medical procedures. In an underground bunker, the nearest hospital is a fantasy. Here's the brutal truth that separates dreamers from survivors. Preparation takes years, not months, years. You need to test your systems. Live in your bunker for extended periods to identify problems before they become catastrophic. You need to build community because isolated underground survival is nearly impossible long-term. The people who actually survive apocalyptic scenarios aren't the ones who panic and scramble at the last second. They're the ones who planned methodically, tested relentlessly, and built redundancy into every system. If you're serious about understanding survival in the most extreme conditions, subscribe to this channel. We're uploading new scenarios every week that will completely change how you see the world. And drop a comment below. Tell me what apocalypse scenario terrifies you most. Let's explore it together. Stay safe out there.